Well, hello, it's Andryanna here, and it is July. I hope you are having a great July, a great summer. And I thought, you know what? We're going to get into a few replays. And as I was thinking, what would I love to hear again? Or what would you perhaps love to hear for the first time if you're new to the podcast? Or if you're an OG, what would you love to hear again? And immediately, these two women popped into my head. They are Kat and Nat. They are hilarious. They are incredible moms, incredible entertainers, incredible people. And I thought let's throw the Kat and Nat replay down, because when else is it best to go with the flow than during the summer months? And before you say, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. I trust me, I get it. Parenting in the summer is almost twice as much work as it is during the school year. So let's get into this episode with Kat and Nat, whom I have had the incredible honor to spend a little bit of time with. If you don't know, my friend Tara and I, we brought them to Northern Ontario for an incredible event called In Full Bloom. We got to share some conversation, have a drink with them, and they're hilarious. They are exactly who they are. Like when you see them online, when you see them on stage, when you listen to their podcast, they're incredible people. And so in this short and sweet episode, we're talking about their mindset and how they have this energy that they have, and how they use the law of attraction, whether they know it or not, how they combat criticism, and with when that comes with the fame that they have, and the platform that they have, and also how they want everyone to allow the messy stuff to happen, and how they go with the flow, and their advice for how we can all go with the flow. So without further ado, let's get into this episode replay with Kat and Nat.
Hey, I'm Andryanna Gonco, and this is the Juggle is Real podcast. As I share my ongoing journey from experiencing burnout to leading a more mindful and intentional life with better balance, I hope you feel seen, that you realize your worth, lighten your load, and prioritize your own needs. As we hear from leading experts and well-known faces in the wellness, entrepreneurship, education, and motherhood space, I hope you gain insights, proven practices, and learn actionable tools to help you enjoy the juggle of work, family, and everything in between with a little less stress and a lot more ease, joy, and fun. Most of all, I hope you find what you need to simplify, streamline, and supercharge your own journey of better balance and self-love. Are you with me? Let's get started.
Before we jump into this episode of The Juggle is Real, I want to mention really quickly that if you are struggling this summer, you're not alone. So many of us are facing additional challenges. We're balancing work responsibilities, we're balancing childcare, looking at changes in our kids' routines and in our routines, and we want to make everyone entertained and engaged, and we want to keep the house clean and all of these things. But what if I told you that we could embrace a lazy parent summer? And when I say lazy parent, I'm talking about a simplified summer. We really want to create more ease, and we want to make it better for everyone. We want our kids to enjoy it, but we also want to enjoy it as well. And so I do have a blog post that I'm going to link in this, the notes for this episode. And I also want to share with you something that's really worked for me. It's a visual chart. It's a morning and afternoon tasks chart. And it really is a beautiful visual guide that helps my kids really incorporate some structure within the flexibility of their summer days. So we want to go with the flow, like this episode is going to show you, but we also want to have a little bit of form within that flexibility to make sure that everyone is feeling good. So this free download includes the visual printout for both morning and afternoons. And it also has 3 different sheets of activity cutouts that you and your kids can choose from. So it includes chores, it includes outdoor activities, indoor activities, independent tasks that they can do to allow you perhaps a few minutes to get some work done or do something, maybe even pick up a book. Heck, you can all dream, right? So feel free to head to the notes for this podcast episode so you can download the free visual chart and start enjoying a stressless summer with your kids. Now let's get into the episode.
Thank you so much for coming on The Juggle is Real. I'm so happy that you're here spending time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. It was so fun to actually meet you in real life when we went to your hometown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Came to Sudbury, came up north.
Met the family.
Met the whole family.
Crew, the entire family, except maybe my dad. Yeah. Everyone under your belt pretty well.
I was thinking that morning on breakfast television, did you drive that morning?
No, I drove the night before. Okay. Yes. And I have friends who live in Bradford.
Okay.
And whom I hadn't seen since before the pandemic, like best friends, like bridesmaid friend. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, let's have a visit. And it was dry January. I was abstaining, obviously had not abstained for that night. I was like, I haven't seen her for years. Like, come on, we got to dive into it a little bit. And then her husband drove me downtown for breakfast television, who he's a saint, because just navigating traffic and all of that stuff, I was like, get my Waze app and I got all these things. But yeah, it was
oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot. But there's really nothing that we can't handle as moms.
But yeah, I mean, it was like, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like a night out. I got to visit with a friend. I got to go to Toronto, and I listened to podcasts and all these things in the car. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, you felt like a grown up for a minute, going to work and going out with your friend.
I had all my stuff. Got to dress up. It was good. You guys are matchy.
We didn't mean to either. That's what's hilarious.
I love it.
I know.
I love it. I'm so happy that we're having this conversation, because I feel like you guys, there's just so many things that you can be sharing and helping others with. And that's what you're doing all the time. And I just love you guys. So this is going to be so much fun. And I have so many things I want to ask you about, but I want to start here because I was actually listening to your podcast last night, and I listened to the episode on the law of attraction, and I have a theory for you.
Okay.
But I also have a question. So I've actually studied some of the laws of the universe, and I was actually coached by a mentor of Bob Proctor, who was really good friends with him when he passed away last year. And her name is Hina Khan, but Bob is one of the creators of The Secret, the book and the movie and all that stuff. So that's the movie, by the way, for those of you who haven't listened to the episode, listen and then listen here. But we're talking to Teddy, you watch this movie together, and then all of a sudden you're talking about the law of attraction. So what's interesting, and I wanted to share, is that the law of attraction is actually a secondary law. So, we have laws of the universe, the law of gravity, right? Like no one refutes the law of gravity. We understand that one. Maybe we don't get it, but we're like, yeah, it's true, whatever. So the primary law is actually the law of vibration. And that is that everything is energy. Everything is always moving. Everything's always vibrating. Everything emits a frequency, like a radio. Yes. So my theory is that you both have such an incredible energy. And this is not theory. This is a fact. Like you both have this amazing energy to you. And it's whether you see you on Facebook, ranting, doing a mom truth, whether you're in person live, whether, whatever it is, you have this great, great energy. So I think what has happened is that your amazing energy is just vibrating at this high frequency. So when you say that you don't necessarily subscribe to the law of attraction or the movie or the book, it just comes naturally to you. And I think it's because you're unconsciously at this frequency where you can manifest and receive incredible things.
And you're showing your kids that, or no? I love that I'm asking you. You think so? Like anyone can get that,
but you have to allow yourself to become that, right? To want to get to a higher energy, to want to feel good, so that you can feel that way. Right. And so you're teaching your kids this, you're doing this by example. It's like, emanating from you. So really long preamble here. But my question is, how do you find that energy within yourselves? Like, what are the things that you do? What is lighting you up? How do you wake up? How do you wake up and just have this positive energy? It seems like you've been just unconsciously doing it from a young age, but tell me, like, what are the things that you're doing that's, you're waking up every morning, you got so much on the go, you're on tour, you got 7 kids. What is allowing you to just be like, yes, today's going to be the best day ever, no matter what life throws at me?
Such a good question.
It is. And, like without thinking about it too hard, when people would always like see us and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like you guys drink so much caffeine. Are you on drugs? Like, why is this energy like so big? And in the beginning, I was just like, I don't know. Like, I think we're just born like this. And I do feel like, we were born with a lot of energy. Even when we were like younger and kids, it was always like, an energy in the room. Like and also I feel like I have energy for myself and also energy to share, but when we really had to think about like why we feel the right to be happy and positive and experience joy is because we're so thankful. Like instead of, you can spend your time being like I don't have as much money as them. I'm not living where I wanted to live. I don't look the way I wanted to look. Like you can say all those things over and over again, or you can wake up and say, I'm just so lucky for everything that I have. For us right now, we have healthy children. We have lots of family that are there for us and that we love and they love us. Like that's a lot of support. And you know what that's like. That is so lucky to have family like that. And we have that family. We have each other. And then we've created a business where we get to spend time bringing joy to other people. Like how could we wake up and not feel great about what's going on? But, I think even as a kid, I felt that too.
Yeah. I think also like, our childhood didn't allow us to feel a lot other than just move forward. So like there wasn't the space for like a lot of like feelings, if that makes sense. Like it was sort of like you learned how to carry on. And I think that that's a pro and a con. Like I think that you work through it, like it hits you harder later in life. Like, teenagehood was not that easy for us. So I feel like we worked through a lot of what we needed to earlier on in age. Like, so right. when high school for a lot of people is sort of like this fun, easy, like difficult because you're so consumed with yourself, but like we had a lot of missteps, which I think made us grow up a lot quicker and figure out who we were a lot earlier. So we've had the fortune of not having to be so consumed as adults of what we don't have or who we're not, or because I think we learned very early on, that there's not a lot of options and it's kind of you and you got to figure it out yourself. And I think that often a lot of people want to find reasons why things are happening negatively, or like, it's very easy to say,
I'm not lucky. These things always happen to me.
Or, just
play the victim, right? There's reasons for that sometimes.
We have a secondary brain that is always talking that we don't even know is talking, which a lot of people have a negative second brain talking. And it's a lot of what other people are saying about you in your brain. And I think slowly because we're so public, you have to learn very early on even more how to get that. And we were really lucky that we came at a time when social media wasn't what it is today. So we got a slow, gradual, exposure to it, and we got to learn quickly what that felt like.
I also feel like in the beginning of social media, people were more careful to put out like negative comments and stuff like that because they didn't know how anonymous they actually could be. But with like experience of years of social media, all of these people that have some negative like things to say, they can go crazy. But by the time that happened, we had already been so out there that we're like, and we've grown and we've become more confident as women and mothers, just, from doing life like this.
For now, right? We're also in a sweet spot where our kids are at a good age, like they're not in too much trouble. They're all under 14. So
we were able to gain this, like be this strong inside of ourselves.
Sorry.
Yes, so much earlier. I feel like a lot of people might say what we experienced early on in like high school and in our early 20s or whatever, maybe they would call it failures. And it felt like that at the time. We know now those are obstacles that made us more resilient now, but it's so
not a lot of lifeboats, like we didn't have a lot of lifeboats or a lot of people, no one rescued us and no one was there listen, I would always have parents I could go home to, but they weren't really concerned about what
they were busy.
They're like,
there wasn't the helicopter. Yeah. I get it.
And then in terms of like energy and how you find it, I think we find it from other people. So like really we get fueled from the world rather than like keeping us inside a house without monotony, like routine kills us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
like the unknown, the unexpected
We
is
love
what
change.
fuels us.
Sometimes we'll just accept opportunities because not even because it seems particularly interesting, but it's going to put us like somewhere different than we were yesterday. So we'll just say yes.
And there's two of us. And I think that's really important to note. You're a lot braver with someone else. And I think that's facts, right? You have a lot more.
Yeah, you got that community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just another person, and you know, you good or bad decisions together. And a lot of people end up finding the wrong person to make decisions with. And we're lucky that we make the right decision. So I feel like it's not just, you know, I think it's really hard for people to be like, what is it? I think it's a choice. I do think it's a choice at times. And I think that everyone can work on a mindset of how they want to see the world. Except part of me is like, you know, some people do have a really hard life. Like it's not fair. And they really are just surviving rather than having the option to think about what their energy is doing. So like, shout out to the people who are surviving right now.
Yes.
And it's not like, it's not easy to be doing life sometimes in certain situations. So the fact that we can have this conversation is such a privilege. And, you know, we're so
Absolutely.
thankful that we can be reflective enough to have a conversation about how we can put energy into.
We even have the time to have this conversation.
Yeah. I think that's even important to acknowledge, right? Is I think some people, it's not an option right now for them. And we hear you, we see you, and we love you. And hopefully one day that is the option.
And those are the most inspiring. I feel like, you know, you've had things, we've all got things, some worse and some a lot heavier than others. And I mean, even if you look to like the most extreme situations, you know, like Viktor Frankl, he was in concentration camps. He saw his pregnant wife murdered, all these horrible things, right? And he said, like, the only thing they can't take away is my mind, what I think, right? And the perspective. So like what you're saying, I love that you have such a positive mindset. And I just wanted to quickly ask you, because I think I cheer you on most. I mean, I'm always cheering you on, but most I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like that's the best, is when you are bluntly tackling the trolls and the haters, the negative feedback, things from, you know, your weight to the way that you're dressing or traveling, being away from your kids, working. I love that you publicly call it out, and often you're doing it with humor and it's hilarious and it makes us second guess, like, well, why are we having these judgments? But what is it like for you in the moment? Like, does it affect you? Have you learned to just let it roll off your back? I know you're saying you've had time to like sort of navigate the journey of having a public life, but how do you go with the flow when it comes to criticism?
You never respond right away. You never ever react. You never react. And then I think you just pick and choose the topics and the reason. And it's not, you know, it's never defending, because we don't have to defend what we do ever. Like we choose what we do and we're happy with our choices. I think it's more bringing awareness to situations that
we know other people are also facing those judgments.
Yeah. And like in terms of weight or like the way you leave or mom guilt, you know, I don't even know why women no man has these conversations, which blows my mind. And I just think that when you address it in a way that's, you know, not like, I'm gonna block you, you're the worst, like everyone's like, well, they'll be like, I'm gonna unfollow you, you're the worst, and then you'll like see them so follow, like they keep saying it to you, and I'm like, dude, what? Like we just are like, all right.
But as far as like not letting it get to you, it's like we make decisions to do and say things, and we feel confident in what we're putting out there. So it's really hard. Like
we don't feel it, to be honest with you.
It's hard to insult me. Like let's say if they're saying something like about our parenting, but
they don't really.
So, but if they do, like, you know, like, you know, cause I remember in the beginning, I used to be like, can't believe moms can go on long business trips. It's like, I know I'm doing the best that I can. And you know, we've made the decision to do the things that we do, and we've been confident that we don't do things and be like, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing. Like, it's like, I feel good about this. And as far as like physical insults, which come sometimes not only at us, but our children, it's like,
Okay.
Like, okay, like
Yeah, sure.
like you think something's weird about the way I look. Like, I don't know. You can't hurt my feelings. Like I look in the mirror and I like what I see. You know what I mean?
love
That
it. Yes.
you telling me that my something is weird. It's like, I don't even know you, and you're not my partner and you're not my friend. So I don't really care what you think.
Yeah.
That's so good. And it's hard for some people, you know, and
I
and
know.
I think when you are content, when you do love yourself, like truly, when you love yourself, then you're not judging others, right? Like you're not out there saying like, oh, look at her, or what is she wearing? When you're not doing that, right? Like you don't have the space, and it's not affecting you. So that's cool. And the internet, social media, it can be beautiful, and it can be such a helpful place. You know, we can choose what type of content we want to, you know, watch and look at and everything, but it's super judgmental and unforgiving at times. So it doesn't sound like it, but was there ever a moment, like maybe early on, did you want to pull the plug on anything, or like having a public life, was it ever like too much for you, where you're like, no, I want to go back to a normal life? Did you ever have any moments of that, or has it just been like,
no, the only thing I wish sometimes
we're doing us,
like a regular paycheck, you know, like you never know what's coming when. Like, that's the only thing I'm like, oh God, but then I'm like, oh God, I'd hate a regular paycheck, because then you're stuck
You'd
to
have
someone.
a boss too. But the only time, you know, it's ever happened had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that it was public and it would have happened in any job, is like when I had my fourth baby, and like we were doing so much and we had to, because we were growing. And there was just there was a moment where I was like, I mean, I was probably having so much like postpartum. My baby was very small. We had just come off of a TV segment.
Yeah, and you weren't on medication.
There wasn't on medication, and I had 4 kids, and we've just come off this crazy project where we had to manage like 20 kids and all these people. And I just was like, in that moment, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this. I don't know how I could possibly do this and then also have 4 babies. Yeah. And, you know, I had my partner to say that to, and then we figured it out together. You know, like I actually had to go back to the doctor and say, I do need to go back on medication, which I was for my first, but not my second, not my third, and then even my fourth. And also I need to ask for help, and I need to get some help.
So I hired her a nanny.
Literally. Amazing.
I did the interview.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think another thing that we have to do in real life, which I think transcends into all your life, is, you know, if you're in a group of people, especially women, and they start talking badly about someone, and do this with your children too, we have to say, actually, that's my friend. Like, we're not having this conversation, or I have a different opinion of that person. I think we're really agreeable, you know, when my kids start talking.
Or just, we don't know what their life is. We're not them.
I do get gossip, but when kids come home and they start trash talking, you know, their friend, or like, you know, and I'm like, that person's been in our house. They're your friend. We're not having this conversation because they're your friend. And I think our culture is so gossipy, and I think it's gotten worse with social media because you can see everything. And I think it's really important to not talk negatively about the people in your life, because I think that just brings in bad energy. Mm-hmm. And I think that if most people stop and think, we do talk badly about a lot of people, and often it's even people in your life. So it's like, you know, stopping that conversation so that you can kind of, it makes people think. And that's something I'm really trying to be cognizant of when I hear negative conversations. It's kind of like, well, like, if I know them, you know, I'm like, they're my friends. I'm not going to have that conversation. And I think that's something we all need to do.
For sure. And it's something that would bring your energy down, right? Bring you into that lower frequency, that lower vibration. Then you're seeing more of it, you know, even for like politics and like who cares? You don't want to vote for that person, that person, you know, is
in sports. And I think that's what really made me realize that, you know, we have to stop talking about children, how good they don't do it. Like, we're done, you know, like, no, like they're 10, 11, 12, 13. No, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. My husband coaches hockey, and I know you guys, you know, the hockey scene, and he literally just wrote this message to the group yesterday. And he's like, so some parents can get up in a tizzy and whatever, but you know, let's just remember, this is about making friends. He's like, some of my best friends to this day, I met in initiation, like, you know, playing Timbit hockey, you know, 5 years old. It's about teamwork. It's about having fun. So let's just make sure we're doing this. Right. And I think if everyone was doing that,
That would
it
be
gets
great.
so competitive, but yeah, it can be tough.
It seems, I mean, I wasn't in the world 10, 20 years ago, but it feels like it's worse than ever, which is really shitty because we should be better.
Yeah.
And we should be
and
more
parents
educated.
should not be talking about other children in front of their kid, you know, and I've seen
the mental health of all these kids. Like, we know this stuff now. Why is it still happening? It's like they don't care. And it's like, it's a really crazy world.
And you're not a better person because your child's a better hockey player. Like, you know, all of these conversations about like,
at the end of the day. Are you having fun? We're good. And like, let's keep having these conversations, you know, there's people, the more that we're talking about this side of it, you know, hopefully that is the narrative that people are hearing, because I think that's really what's needed versus all the competition. But let's just take this on one different direction, because I just want to make sure I get all of my questions in for you. Mm-hmm. And I want to say how inspiring it is to see the success that you've had and the impact that you've made for so many moms, so many people. And I know you started humbly, you know, you're in the living room, you're having mom groups, hosting things. Things have progressed. You know, you've got best-selling books, you have a journal, The Common Parent for parents and preteens and teens. There's a wine label in there. You have these incredible live shows that you bring to people all around North America. You're in between tours right now. So how do these ideas come to you? Were you out there like writing book proposals and looking for an agent, or did the opportunities come to you because someone saw one of your viral videos? How do you have these ideas, and how are you creating these things? Like just the tour, for instance, like how did the tour originate? I would love to know how this has all come together.
Okay. So many of these things that happen now are conversations that we had that
over
like
cocktails,
or just like dreams, you know, dreams of doing things like and it's the same thing. It's like we talk it into existence. Like, you know, the tour was literally like, we were doing our Facebook lives and we were like, we love talking to you guys every day. The same people would come back every single day. And we were like, one day we're going to host a girls' night out that has everything, and you'll all be invited, and we'll get the venue, and we'll have music and DJ, and we will have conversations, and we'll meet each other, and we'll be inspired, and we'll share stories. And we just used to talk like this and talk like this. And then an opportunity came up like with CBC, and they had a theater, and they said, you know, we'll pay you to come do a live Facebook Live in our theater. And we took it, that's what they offered us. And we took it to the extreme and made the most outrageous party ever, got alcohol sponsors, got the whole thing catered. And CBC was like, this isn't exactly what we had in mind. And we were
CBC too. They're pretty conservative.
I know. And we were like, but we were like, this is our only opportunity to host this night. Like, it might never happen again. So let's do it big.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another. With having an agent, basically, we just thought that we should have an agent, and emailed.
Well, one agent came to us because his wife or girlfriend at the time was a fan.
Mm-hmm. Our book agent.
So that was that. And then,
but even the book, like, we were like, we're going to write a book. And I remember,
and there's only one reason we wanted to write a book, by the way. And it's you know, we're being totally honest here. It was because when no one really knew how to label us. And then when you would see people, they'd be like, they're an author, like they had a title of an author, like a best-selling author. So we were like, I guess we need a book. So we have a title of no one really knew what to do with us. Or they're like, Cat and Nat or bloggers. I'm like, we've never written a blog in our life. So we were like, we'll become authors. And literally,
people would be like, you know, agents would reach out to us and say, we have this client and we want them to come on your Facebook Live. They're a best-selling author. We're like, okay, well, we're obviously going to get more doors if we're a best-selling author. We need to be an author. So we literally would like take the recorder. I remember getting my makeup done for something and take the phone recorder and just start like audio writing the book. There was no book deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was no, not even close. And then it happened. So a lot of the things we just imagine in our heads and
come to life.
And I'm sure it's not a miracle. It's things that we dream of. We put ourselves in the right path for the opportunities to come. And sometimes we ask and sometimes it's offered, but you know, we're just usually the things we put out there, an opportunity comes. And, you know, a really good example, we really wanted to have a wine label. It came to us. That partnership is over. The whole team over there that does any wine with anybody, like any partners, doesn't exist anymore. So it was it wasn't just not that I need to say this, but it wasn't just like an our failure thing. The whole program didn't work, but and that's an example of like when things don't work out, sometimes it'll hurt for a minute, but you just got to look at it as you had that opportunity, you had that experience. Something else is going to show up. Like you can't dwell on that failure, because sometimes people dwell so much on the failure that they're buried by it and they can't move forward.
Yeah. It's so cool because, this is all law of attraction stuff, right? Like, it's like unconsciously you're speaking this to the universe and you are able to receive it. You're like, yes, we can do it. We're here for it. You're not there like, well, it'd be cool to write a book someday, but like, we're not writers. Like I can never write a book. Like it's so hard to get a book deal. It's like super, super hard. And these are facts and these are statistics. And perhaps it is like a 1 in a million type opportunity. But if you can say it, and if you're like open to saying like, yeah, like come and find us, we're here. And you're in that energy of like creating, then yes, like this is so many examples of how you're just living the secret.
Also, I think the other thing
like,
too is
to call you.
The other thing is a lot of people don't realize how they level up other women just by saying yes. And there's a lot of women who have opened doors that aren't even aware they've opened doors for us. And I think that yeses to other people are really important and really a really big part of our success. So I really do need to acknowledge that, when someone takes a chance on you and says yes and gives you an opportunity, even if it's an optical one, like, Tracy Moore was the first one to be like, yeah, I'll come and come to your Facebook Live in your living room with 300 viewers. And she didn't question it. And then she was like, I believe in you too. And really never knew the impact she had on us. But because she said yes, well, guess what? She validated that we were worth having a conversation with. So then other people just kept open. And Chelsea Handler's actually another one who really has always been there for us and, supported us. And because she said yes, and she's not even a mom, it's like they just give you an opportunity for different opportunities. And they're not even having to do anything other than just, be kind to you. And
you know what? So we have women have this rap of like going against each other or being competitive or jealous and all that. And in our experience now, there has been things that have happened, but that's not the things that we highlight in our mind. When we look at our journey, there are so many women that have been so amazing with asking like nothing in return to us. Like, so many, like, yes, I'll sit with you and I'll answer all your questions. Yes, I'll tell you how much, we didn't know how much, like we weren't blogging, but we had no idea the world and what kind of money could be made and all that. And people just answering questions, and they were always women.
Yeah. And that's what you're doing right now, right? Like having a conversation with me on my little podcast. I don't have 50 million downloads. I don't have, you know what I mean? Like this is what you're doing now, and you are continuing this path. So thank you so much for that. As we close and as we wrap up, I asked most of my guests about balancing work and family life and finding harmony with all the things, because this journey of motherhood, business, entrepreneurship, it's such a trip. Like it's changing all the time. There's challenges, but there's wins. It seems like you both have sort of mastered that ability to go with the flow and just sort of figure things out as you go. And that can be really difficult for a lot of people, me especially. I think, recovering perfectionist kind of thing. So have you always been this way? Have you acquired the skill that you've learned?
Childhood.
So it comes back to childhood again. So for those of us who maybe had helicopter parents, who maybe people who did our laundry for us, whatever. How do you do it?
I think divorced parents are a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because I think you learn, and the younger you are, the better, because I do think that you learn very quickly how to be flexible and bounce around and go to different houses and different parenting styles. And, I think that.
Or even if it happens when you're 13, the worst apparent time for your parents to get divorced.
Yeah.
Anytime is fine.
Yeah. If you're staying in a marriage for the kids, don't do it. They'll be better people if you get out. And, and I really do. We come from, my mom was 18. They were 18. I was 18 months when they got divorced. And I just think you learn, it's like life lessons makes you flexible. Like, I think we're so like intense on making everything perfect for our children. And I'm like, you need bumps in your life in order to become a flexible person. And that's taught. This is all taught. And I think that we hyper focus on children so much right now that we are teaching them nothing other than to not even to feel anymore. Like basically, let's just make everything perfect, and you go to school and get perfect grades and then come home and you'll have a perfect life. And I just think there's not enough weight in the mess of being disorganized, distracted, forgetting forms. And, like the more imperfect you are, it really is better for your children because they learn very quickly to be responsible for different things. So the more balls you can drop, the better. My kids, they're responsible for almost everything. It's right. My 7-year-old's the most responsible, like ready, bag packed, ready to go out. And I do think there's something about the mess of motherhood that teaches our children. So the fact that we're always feeling guilty about it breaks my heart, because we should be celebrating it, because it makes our children people rather than perfection.
But that when you were just saying that sentence and you were like, it looks like you guys have really mastered, and I'm so glad you didn't say the art of balance, because a lot of people would say that to us and we will say like, there is no balance. And you're exactly right. It's going with the flow. It's being able to just like ride the wave. And sometimes it's really intense and it's really hard.
Motherhood is reactive. Motherhood's reactive, and you have to react really quickly at different times.
And so is life. And so is being a woman.
We're good at being reactive, and rather than being paralyzed by things, and things arise, and then you're like, all right, we got to go this way in this direction now. Like there's not a lot of like, you can't really plan in motherhood, especially when your kids get older.
And don't try and find balance, because sometimes your marriage will be going great, and sometimes the kids will be doing really well for a week. Sometimes your career will be going well. Everybody takes a turn, and it's always like here and there, even throughout all the kids, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think it's how you define it too. Like it's what you make it. But I love this, like always one foot in front of the other. Just take that next step. Thank you. I just want to say, I really appreciate both of you, everything that you've done. You're such an inspiration. I'm so happy that you're here with me and sharing this conversation. Just on a final note, like, what is next for you? What are you now speaking to the universe? What are you saying over cocktails?
We've been really
Natalie, it was just your birthday. Happy birthday. Like, what were you guys chatting about? Like, what's next for you two? As we close, let us know.
Well, we're going on more tours. We're not stopping tours. We have a few projects that we are working on, which really is the mission is to just bring more of, more behind the scenes to the audience, so that they can see like how it's really done without instead of just coming on and showing more behind the scenes stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I can't wait to see it.
More cocktailing and more dreaming, because we've been bad at it recently. We used to just do it on the plane, on the thing. Now she's an expert sleeper, so I got to wake her up on the plane.
You're taking your naps. I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, let's wake up. We got to talk.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see what comes up next.
Thank you. Good luck with everything.
I'm sure
Thanks
we'll
for
see you
having
soon.
us. We appreciate it.
Wow. I'm it. That's it. I'm good. For the rest of the day, I loved that conversation. It filled me up. And I think that the takeaways here of just going with the flow, allowing that messy stuff to happen, and just knowing that it's going to be okay. I had no idea really where the conversation was going to take us. And I really and truly love how the lessons of following your heart, speaking your truth, actually putting yourself out there and being available to receive the cool ideas that are coming to you. I think if nothing else, Kat and Nat are living proof examples showing us that it is possible, that, yeah, you can have a bunch of kids. You can, I mean, not even graduate from high school. And, they went back to school and different things like that, but it is all possible for you. And when we can allow and just surrender to that flow, not worrying about it being perfect, not worrying about having to achieve this perfect state of being that mom or wife or boss or friend or anything but just being true to yourself. I mean, if we can master that, how Kat and Nat have, I think, this world's going to be a better place. So if you love this conversation, please share it with a friend. Please throw it up in your stories on Instagram. Let everyone else know and tag me at Andryanna G. That's ANDRYANNAG. Rate this one, write me a review. I would appreciate it so much. Until the next episode, take good care.